everyone, and thank you for tuning into another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks Fresh Fright edition. It is your girl, Emma, and I am joined by the elusive producer.
I'm back, baby.
He's back.
Back in the hot seat.
Back in the hot seat.
Ready to go.
Oh, all right. When to become one, need somebody like I never needed love before. I'm a love to your baby. Okay, for those of you that are not familiar with our Fresh Fright format episodes, these are mini little reviews after we see brand new horror films. So as y'all are waiting for us to do like a gnarly deep dive that takes a lot of notes and research on mine and Allie's part, it's nice to have these little Fresh Frights that we can do where we're just kind of given like a quick digest of our thoughts.
These are usually always going to be in theaters.
Yeah.
That's why they're a little more bite-sized. We always plan to do, I think.
Ooh, bite-sized.
Bite-sized,
like
meow.
that.
But we always give more people the opportunity to go see it out of theaters, and when it's actually like on streaming,
Yep.
then that's when we can dive in and dissect and just rip it apart.
Yeah, and this one in particular, I'm really going to try my hardest to not do any spoilers. So I
wish you the best of luck.
I think I can do it. We're going to test if I can do that, because you guys, I'm a Sagittarius, and I just want to say every little detail. I want to tell you every minute of the film. You guys know how I am, detail oriented, but I'm going to try my best to give just like a very high level details today. So you guys, have you been wondering what happens when a real life married couple makes a body horror film about codependency? Because I have. Have you?
I haven't. But I'm really excited to learn.
Well, today, you guys, we are talking about the brand new film that just came out nationwide on July 30th, and it is called Together, and it stars real life couple Dave Franco and Allison Brie. Also, if you didn't fucking know, they are married, which I remember when I first found that out, I was like, whoa, plot twist.
And they're still married.
They're still married.
For Hollywood celebrities, marriages, I usually put them at a 5-year cap. But they're still crushing it.
They are crushing it. They're going the distance. And now they have made a really cool, almost like romantic horror film together. This film is directed by Michael Shanks. And this is his feature debut, which is kind of cool.
Which is cool. He was just like a YouTube guy.
Yeah.
That kind of similar to the Philippa brothers, because he's also from Australia. Because apparently the Australian government, like Film Institute and everything out there, has a lot of really cool programs to get more people that are already creating to dive deeper and make these longer things.
Hell yeah, I love that.
The Philippa brothers, they're making very unique and like really cool films. So here's another hotshot from Australia doing the same thing, and it's their writing, their directing, their take from like start to finish. And I think that's a big component to why these films are so good.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have not seen this film yet and you're deciding to come in blind and listen to this and you maybe have no idea what we're talking about, let me give you like the quick summary of this film. Years into their relationship, Tim and Millie find themselves at a crossroads as they move to the country. With tensions already flaring, an encounter with an unnatural force threatens to corrupt their lives, their love, and their flesh. I love that summary, and I think that really gets right to the point.
So I would say I had seen a couple trailers forever ago, because apparently this did wildly well at Sundance this year in January.
Sundance was, January, right?
And yeah, that's how they were able to make their money.
Yeah,
And
totally.
we'd seen like a couple trailers, and I gotta give the trailers a lot of credit because they gave away enough.
Yeah.
They told you like what, because even the cover of it is their arms stuck together.
Yep.
In like, also practical, by the way.
Love.
Which is nuts.
Fucking love practical effects. You guys know how I feel.
So it's like, we don't really know how they're going to get there. We just know for some reason they are turning into flubber and just being connected and stuff like that. Then you come to find that it's a lot more than, physical connection, but it's also like the emotional connection is wrapping all of this together.
Yeah, absolutely. I also love too that this is a neon film, because like neon films like Longlegs, The Monkey, Cuckoo, these are all films that have come out like relatively recently, and I just feel like Neon, they've already made a name for themselves for sure, but they're really getting up there with some like very large studios in terms of just like churning out these amazing films. Mm-hmm. So
kind of doing a lot of similar things to like A24.
Yes.
The budgets might be there, but they're always feel independent.
Yes, totally. They feel indie. They don't feel like this, like that there was a boardroom of executives that discussed and chose this film to be released. It feels very almost like personal and intimate for the person like viewing it, which is kind of cool.
But that's why they're all hitting. That's why every single one they all feel personal. And I think they're going after the right projects.
Yeah. And I think a lot of them too are like very different. So going into Together a little bit, I loved that this premise is very unique, as in we haven't seen, I mean, we did just have like The Substance come out last year, right? Which was another really amazing body horror. And it has a lot of similarities in terms of like, in Together, something happens to this couple, and then unfortunately, they have some consequences. But it's like so much deeper than that too, as well. Like they're a long-term couple, and some new opportunities have brought an opportunity for them to like move to the countryside from the city. You can tell that they've been together for a long time. They aren't married like quite yet. And it's almost like a joke within their friend group. Like, oh, when are you guys going to get married? Like, it's been a long time. And yeah, they're dealing with some stuff. I think that they love each other so much. They've been together for a very long time. But Alison Brie's character gets a work opportunity in the countryside. And yeah, Dave Franco's character, Tim, he just kind of has to like come along with her. And it seems like that's sort of how his relationship has been with her for these last however many years that they've been together. And as they move to the countryside too, not only are they experiencing all of life's stressors that come along with moving, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure there's so much that comes. I mean, we just did that last year and it's a lot. But then also they're kind of isolated because they're in the countryside now. They're used to living in the city. I feel like, I don't know if you felt this, and I don't know if we got this clarity in the film, but it felt like they were moving from New York to like a countryside.
That's
right?
what I gathered too. I think making that move in the script a thing does add that isolation, you know, because if they were in the city, let's be honest, the first 2 minutes of this film is they're going away party. All these friends that they have.
And it's in like a high rise, it looks like, where you see like the cityscape behind them. Yeah.
But they're only going 2 hours away.
Yeah.
But at the same thing, it's like this big, you know, going away thing. So they kind of have that separation from that separate life with this internal separation between them that's kind of giving and taking.
Yeah.
So when they're in this situation in this small town, they don't have anyone to go to. They can't just go to mom and dad or go to their best friend.
They only have each other.
They only have each other this entire time.
Yeah. It takes like their relationship almost like to the next level. And I think at first they're like trying to make the best of it. And they're like, oh, you know, it's going to be great. And we're in the nature. We can do all these hiking trails and we can do this and that. And Alison Brie's character, Millie, she even like encourages Tim to keep rehearsing with the band that he was once a part of and maybe going on tour and going like she wants him to kind of keep doing the things that make him happy while also fulfilling her dream and her next step in her career. So like you think it's going to be this like positive thing, but then something happens. I'm not going to spoil it to you guys. I'm being a good girl.
There's a lot of trailers, but it's like they go on a hike and it triggers this supernatural thing between
a supernatural occurrence.
Yeah.
And it causes not only issues with the event itself that happens, but then we start to see some of their actual emotional issues really start to manifest physically. But at that turning point in the film is when things start to dive really deep and we start to see a lot of their issues really coming to the surface, things that they maybe both have been burying down for a little while and have been maybe kind of putting under the rug. And overall, this story kind of explores how their bond literally and metaphorically like shifts into like a very unsettling territory. It's crazy.
Yeah. I got to give a lot of credit to the editors as well.
Yeah.
Because it had a lot of really funny moments. And a lot of those funny moments are wrapped in awkwardness.
Yes.
And, you know, that's a lot of things. It is comedic timing requires a lot. And finding that in a horror film is not easy without actual jokes.
I think it really helped that Allison and Dave have real life chemistry. I mean, they're
Totally.
married in real life. So it also added this like realness to the story because you're like, you're a real couple. All couples have their issues, right? Like every couple has their stuff that they go through. And so it really added that layer of authenticity and made it so much more believable because you could just tell that every word that they were saying, every movement that they were making, their just acting in general was so natural with each other, which I thought was like, that really brought like an extra element to this film.
It's kind of funny at the same time when you think about actors and actresses let's say they're in a rom-com. They're not dating in real life, but you're playing this character. Like watching it, thinking about the dynamic of they are a real life married couple playing these characters.
Yeah.
I think about you and me, for instance. I don't think I could pretend to be anybody else with you. So it's like when they're acting and having these relationship issues with a real, what seems like from the outside view, a healthy marriage, it's kind of daunting.
But so impressive.
And they had that chemistry exists.
Yeah.
Which is a fun fact that I saw in an interview with the director, Michael Shanks. Dave and Allison didn't need a intimacy coordinator.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't required, but their stand-ins did. They would have to have stand-ins to get the lighting right and get everything done while the actors are getting makeup or running lines and stuff like that. So they had to actually still hire one anyway. But
That's so wild.
This real life married couple didn't.
They're like, we don't need that.
Save a little bit of money there. Why not? I think they were producers anyway, so they were probably okay with not adding onto the bill.
I think there's another fun fact. You looked this one up. Okay, this isn't really spoiling anything, but there is a penis that you're gonna see in the film. And isn't it like the director's wife? She worked for like a sex toy company or something.
The scene was always in the cards. Because it basically requires them to like have sex, obviously. So the scene was always going to happen, and his wife had this really funny idea, which requires to see some of Dave Franco's character's penis. And she was like, I can just get a sex toy from work. And he's like, can you get it for free? Awesome. Send it to the prop guy. He'll put pubes on it.
Oh my God. That is so funny. Dude, I love resourceful filmmaking. That's amazing.
But kind of another thing on top of that, on top of props, this was very low budget. They did this whole thing in 21 days. And apparently the budget.
Wow. I did not know it was that short.
And the budget was $17 million, which it's wild to think that's low budget.
I know.
But every prop they had one of.
They really had to kind of be like one and done.
The most complicated prosthetic, which is something you can see on the cover, is at one point their arms get stuck together. And that's real. They had one of everything. So even of this prop that they had, a fake wiener, they only had one.
My goodness.
Couldn't ruin it.
I didn't notice really a lot. I mean, there's obviously some CGI or like editing that's in it, but I loved their use of practical effects. It was so like immersive, and a lot of the prosthetics totally just added to the realness of like the body horror. Like, I feel like I mentioned this in a lot of our other podcast episodes, but one of my favorite films, not just because I love Jeff Goldblum, but I love The Fly. And there's the original Fly from I think like the 50s, and then there's the remake with Jeff Goldblum. And you and I just recently watched it, and you had never seen it before. And every time I see it, I forget how fucking good the effects are. And I'm just such a practical effects girly. It's not even funny.
We also have John Carpenter's The Thing to thank, because that was the director's like biggest, not influence, but his like favorite film.
Which is also one of my fucking favorites. So
yeah, and heavily practical effects. And they kind of brought that same thing into this. Any CGI that I could probably tell was the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
And then everything else you can tell was crazy that you can tell it was practical, but not to diminish the quality.
Oh, totally.
You're just thinking like, no, this looks way too realistic to be CGI.
Yeah.
It truly is insane.
Well, and it really invokes like real physical discomfort from the people that are watching it. Because you're like, oh shit, this looks real as fuck. Like, it's just like, again, it's just another element that made you feel so much like you were really immersed like within the film, which I appreciated a lot. I also really liked that they like, going back to those moments of humor too within the film, I loved that they had like an effective balance of horror with dark humor and then also like escalating tension, because throughout this film there's kind of a oh, we know this thing is going to happen and it's all like the workup to get to that point. But there's several moments where there's a really serious scene happening and it's maybe a very serious, bloody, gory body horror scene. And then it gets like a cut and now it's like a little bit comedic, which I love because you and I, again, maybe relating it back to you and I feel like we try to find humor in the dark, sad things. So when something happens to us, we like try to laugh our way through it or make jokes. And that's probably how a lot of people really are in real life. So adding those little like comedic elements, again, just made it even more real feeling, which was amazing.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it is the writing and a lot of it too was the editing as well. And I kind of a flip side on the comedic part, I liked that there was a lot of different types of scares in this. It's not just body horror. It's not just grossing you out.
That's true.
There was a very decent amount of good.
It was really spooky in the beginning.
Yeah, there was a lot of portions of it that were very dark and very just
Totally.
And I like that stuff. It was usually at night when someone's sleeping, kind of going into the next day. It was a lot of that when the togetherness truly starts to unfold.
You mentioned something, I think, when we were leaving the theater the other night, and you said that a lot of the scares and a lot of the most frightening parts came from almost like night terror type things, right? Which I thought was like really interesting because I didn't notice it in the moment. But when you said it afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, it has this underlying theme too of the disconnection between like your mind and body, right? And like how your mind, what's that saying that's like,
whiskey for the pain.
There's one. Okay, that's one. I was gonna say like mind over matter or whatever. Like, like people in real life can have such control of their mind that can help them out of like painful situations, mental issues, like all kinds of things. Like if your mind is like really, really strong, like you can kind of like almost talk yourself out of anything. And there is a lot of that in here. It's like, okay, let's try to stay mentally strong because our bodies right now are doing some shit that we're like not agreeing with.
That's also a good difference between our two main characters and their relationship too.
Totally.
It's always like just to get obviously like to fill in the gaps and to make a story. Any situation with two people or something bad happens, one already knows what's going on. And all they're trying to do is convince the other person that this is going on. And they're just telling them that they're crazy. Regardless of all the signs, regardless of all the red flags. No, it's nothing.
We're fine.
We just got to go see a doctor. It's fine.
A doctor.
And there was this really like funny, it's something that you'll see obviously in the trailer. It requires a saw. So obviously they're stuck together, but there was this really funny moment. Basically, Dave Franco's character it happens to him first. He's trying to convince his girlfriend, Alison Brie's character.
His partner.
When the first main thing happens, it's all chaotic. They're like yelling at each other. It's insane. She stops him. She's like, I'm so sorry I didn't believe you.
Yeah. And it's this very like timely moment, and he's like, "Okay, it's fine.
Okay, it's fine. Go, keep going.
Yeah, keep doing what you need to do."
Which is another cue and kind of like that.
It's a real relationship. It feels like a real relationship.
It feels real, and it's funny at the same
it's
time.
Like totally something I'd say to you.
Yeah, it's obviously like the shit's hitting the fan, and then they're like, "Wait, stop." I'm sorry. Yeah, you were so right. Yeah, like okay, that's great. Let's go.
Totally. Going back to the top of the episode too, when we mentioned codependency, I want to touch on that theme for a hot second. So I feel like all of us can say at one point or another, especially like us that are in kind of our adult life now, like fully immersed, we've probably been in relationships many times, if not at least once.
I was codependent with my dog.
That is actually very true. And I feel like we could say, yeah, any kind of relationship. It actually doesn't even need to be just romantic. It could be like a parent. It could be a friend.
No, totally.
And when you get into like a codependent relationship too, it's also really, really hard to know you're in one.
Yeah.
Until you're out. And it's also hard to get out. They deal a lot with like this codependency theme in here too, which kind of mixes a little bit with like loss of identity. Because when you're codependent on someone too, you sort of like lose that sense of self a little bit. I think especially, when you're like a very young person too, you kind of still don't know who you are and the things that you also need to experience things in life to learn how you dealt with them to help you kind of like figure out the type of person that you are too. So that was like another one. And then it's also mixed with like partnership strain happening under stress as well. there is this big, not only did they have this huge move where they've moved away from a lot of their friends, and like we said, they pretty much only have each other, but it's this beautiful countryside. It's seemingly like this amazing place that has a lot of new opportunity.
They can apparently go on a hike out of their backyard.
Yeah,
which
literally,
is dope.
it's beautiful. Their house is gorgeous. But there's also that, like, even in the most happy relationships, something like moving, something like getting a new dog, something like having a baby, getting married, those are all still stressors.
And a big move like that magnifies things.
Yes, and it can test your relationship and really like bring out things and or let me rephrase that to bring things to the surface, which I think happens a lot here. So it's like, not only are we dealing with this couple, Tim and Millie, who have stumbled onto this like supernatural force and some things are going to be happening to them, but it's also just on top of the other shit that they've been dealing with just as a couple in their relationship. So it's kind of crazy. A wild ride.
Wild stuff. But there was just a lot of really good moments in this. There was a lot of moments that I was kind of like, that was cheesy. So something, once again, you can see in the trailer, there's this force that's bringing them together.
Yep.
And they're freaking out. It requires like a hallway and stuff like that. There was this one scene that it was in the middle of the night. They're getting dragged together, like out of these separate rooms. And then you see Alison Brie's character coming out of her room doing that upside down walking.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
something that it was really heavy in that 2005 to 2010 like horror movie. They have to hire a contortionist to be able to walk upside down and do all this. I was like, we could have gone without that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, because you don't see how she gets to that point in that scene. And I'm trying to like, what would bring you to all of a sudden be walking backwards and doing this like back handspring and like, I don't know. There's like a couple.
That was a little cheesy for you.
It was a little cheesy. But that scene also has some of the best practical effects in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I'll say it again, it's in the poster, so I'm not spoiling anything. Their arms start coming together as if you and another person are grabbing each other's forearms.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. But it's all just skin on top of it. It's almost like they're under each other's skin, but there's no blood. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's all practical, and it is so cool.
It is so cool.
It is crazy.
It's so detailed, and it's just like, yeah, it's awesome.
And I saw an interview with Dave and Allison, and apparently they only had one of those, and it was a long day of shooting, and each of them had to go to the bathroom a handful of times, and they would literally be over each other.
They just went together because they're a couple.
Because they're a couple.
Hell yeah, dude.
You probably couldn't have done that.
I've been trying to get you to do that with me for years.
Okay.
Well, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe everybody that's listening to this podcast can pressure you. Who knows?
Or they could agree with me to be like, yeah, bro, that's weird. You have every right to feel like that's weird.
Something else about this film that I want to touch on too is the critical reception that it's gotten so far. So not only did it have such good praise at Sundance and like just being backed by Neon and everything, like this is all like really helping it, but so far, I think on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a near perfect 100% fresh score. And it has like a 7.9 out of 10, I believe, on like IMDb-ish. And it's got like generally favorable reviews overall, which is cool.
Yeah, I saw on Letterboxd, I was just seeing 4s and 5s on all the reviews.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were very psyched on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people shared my sentiment that I thought it would be grosser.
I agree.
I thought it would be grosser. It had very gross moments, but it actually wasn't that gross. So don't let that stop you from going to see it. If you're like, you know what? I don't want to be grossed out. It's actually not that bad.
Can I say something funny? I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like The Substance and Together are opposites for me. I went into The Substance not thinking it was going to be like crazy
So
gross and literally was disgusting.
Yeah.
And then this film, I went in because I'd heard so much about it being like, oh, this intense body horror and blah, blah, blah. And then like I went in, and don't get me wrong, there are gross moments, 100%. But like, I could still eat my dinner and watch this film. I don't know if that's just me.
It was
funny.
I would say it was very, very tame. And I don't know if it was the marketing that made it feel that way. All the marketing just made it seem like I was going to puke in my mouth the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I felt like...
Good marketing, effective marketing.
Yeah, The Substance was not marketed that way. The Substance was fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And this was not a lot of blood.
Yeah.
It was a lot... Honestly, it was just impressive. There was just all of the gross stuff, quote unquote gross stuff, was, in my opinion, fucking cool.
I think too, the fact that towards the end, there's like kind of just an embrace. And I mean that both physically and metaphorically, in more ways than one. That also helps make it almost like I need somebody like I never needed love before. I'ma make love to ya, babe. Had a little love, and now I'm back. No, or four more. There you go.
Not to change the subject too quick, but Spice World plays a very large part in this film, as it should.
Made me love it even more.
I feel like they missed the prime opportunity to put Wannabe over the credits.
Yep.
Could you imagine this film ended in, I'll tell you what I want, what I really want. Like, I would have, I would have lost my shit. And I've never stood up and clapped at a movie, but I would have done that.
Yeah. They will listen to this and make it a little bit of an edit.
They should.
Yeah, they should.
It's not too late.
Okay, so before we wrap up officially, I want to just like kind of wrap it all into like a little bit of a bow. I would say like this film to me was a super fun ride. I really enjoyed it. I was expecting it to be a little bit scarier / a little grosser, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't good. I do think that it was really good, and I loved that it was just different than anything I've ever seen. We haven't seen something like this. I don't know. I really liked just the whole like storyline and kind of like premise of everything. And I think it's just a really like bold genre blend of like comedy, horror, and like relationships. And just kind of like those themes. I also think that Alison Brie and Dave Franco just like delivered an amazing performance. Like they were super committed. It was believable, and it was like grounded in a very real connection between the two of them.
And I got to admit, it is very bold of them to do this together.
So bold of them.
They played a large part. I think they were both producers on this as well.
Yeah.
And that is, not only was this entire storyline a test of two people in a relationship, this entire experience had to have been a test of their marriage as well.
100%.
You know, like kind of blending in business with
pleasure.
Well, it was funny. We just watched that Hitchcock biopic, you know, where it was kind of a blend of him as a director and his wife also playing a large part, how that was testing their relationship.
Yep.
It is very bold of them to do that, but it truly paid off.
Yeah.
I've never seen them together in something. I've loved everything they've done separately.
Yeah. Same.
It is still hard to see Alison Brie not as Annie in Community.
I know.
To me, but
she's so good.
It was extremely bold, and I'm very happy it pulled off because it's awesome. It was a great film. I loved it.
And there's also not a lot of horror films out there that can really effectively explore intimacy, boundaries, and like emotional fusion and really wrap it all into one, because you go through a lot of emotional rides in this film. Nothing is good nor bad. This is just the journey of their relationship. And they just so effectively take you on that journey with them, which I absolutely enjoyed. Maybe watch this film with a little bit of a stronger stomach. I think I could handle it, but I'm also like a horror movie podcast host, so I watch a lot of this stuff. You do too as well.
I will help everybody. The grossest part is the first 15 seconds. After that, there's not a lot of gore. And by the way, quick.
Oh, it's quick.
It's a quick flash.
It's done.
So after that, I have to admit, it could have been grosser. Yep. They had so many opportunities for it to be grosser.
Yeah.
And it truly was really, really tame. Even when the moments leading up, you're like, oh my God, this is going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
They'll cut, and it's a funny cut. It's
That's
always
true.
a comic. All the cuts are super funny.
Yeah. Everything was like calculated in the perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
Just so good.
If the substance didn't gross you out, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know what? go ahead. Go get yourself a bunch of chili dogs before, load up, get crazy, get full, and then you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. And if you're not, don't come yell at me.
We didn't do it.
I'm not your dad. But before we head out, I am excited to do more of these Fresh Frights.
Yes.
I know this was kind of just like a fun idea that we had every so often. I'll be honest with you guys, the past year-ish we've just been slammed with everything, and it's honestly been hard to get ourselves to the theater. And but
we're AMC members now. We're A-listers.
So we're doing ourselves the favor and benefit of seeing more modern films rather than just rewatching all the old classics.
Even though that's great too.
That is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I am excited to get more of these fresh frights out there. And something fun, something that you said, that we always do our normal reviews every other Thursday. A fresh fright is never going to get in the way of that.
Nope,
These
never.
will always be
Additional,
random, and they will be released on Fridays.
Fresh Fright Fridays.
That is perfect.
Wow.
I don't know, why weren't we doing this before?
I don't know. You're welcome.
Fantastic.
That's why I'm in marketing, I guess.
And today it is Thursday. It is currently Thursday. It is 5:58 p.m.
We're going to go get some sushi, and then you're going to get this podcast freaking loaded and ready for y'all to listen to it tomorrow.
And if it is Saturday, I am sorry.
Just Fresh Fright Friday.
Fresh Fright Friday on a Saturday sometimes. But I'm excited to watch more new horror. This has been a really big year for horror. There has been so much good stuff. And I am psyched for the genre. I'm psyched where the genre is heading. I feel like we're slowing down on reboots.
Yes.
And we're slowing down on sequels.
Thank God.
Although we did see I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was pretty good. That was like a requel, so I give him a little bit of credit.
Yeah.
But I'm truly thrilled and excited where this genre is heading. I think it is heading in very promising hands.
Yeah, I agree. And I know our Allison was not able to join this episode, but she's also looking forward to doing a lot of Fresh Frights with us this summer, kind of like going into fall. So you can definitely expect her on some of these as well. But, you know, when she's not here, I've got my trusty producer who I live with and who is my lover. So
I'm just out here doing my best.
Well, so since Ali is not here to close us out, do you want to take a stab?
All right. Shot out of a cannon on top of my head. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Codependency can be a real bitch. Don't be surprised when two become one. And hey, stay spooky, fuckers.